Overwatch Season 5 just got a major update, and let's go over the 3 most important things you need to know about this update. And make sure you stay to the #1 thing, because this one is a doozy. Starting at number 3, I want to talk about this new slow meta. It seems like this meta, they're trying to add some more crowd control back into the DPS players. Cassidy and Mei now both have something that they can really slow somebody with. I know Mei already had it, but it's even better now. Mei's primary fire now does less damage, but it builds up to an overall 75% slow, which destroys heroes like Ball or maybe Winston if they're trying to actually move around and bubble dance. It is insane. Another change to Mei is when they get to the 75% slow state, if you shoot them with an icicle, it detonates, which does an extra 40 damage to the player on top of what the icicle was already doing, which is a lot of damage, and they're very slow. It's a crazy change. But not only that, Cassidy's grenade is now changed. It used to be really close. It sticks to them, does a lot of damage. Now you can throw it really far. The magnetic thing will still happen if it gets close to them. But not only that, when it attaches, there will be a new effect called hinder while it's attached to them. And what that does is so the hero it's attached to cannot use their movement abilities. Reaper can't use his Wraith. Sombra can't use their TP. Tracer can't use their blink. I mean, it's insane. A real actual counter for Sombra and Tracer now, not just the fact you have to hit your headshots. If you get this nade, they're as good as done. So how do these abilities play out? How do they feel in this new update? Honestly, it doesn't feel like it's a buff or a nerf. It feels like it's a tuning. It's just a different way to play them. It sounds really OP, especially the Mei freeze, but it's really not that easy to actually do. What I think the biggest changes is Mei and Cassidy felt like they were good in almost every single situation, versus now, I think Mei is not very good in some situations and really good in others, especially if you need to slow someone down like a Junker Queen and your team's on it. I mean, there's a lot of good situations for it now, not just all over the place and almost anyone. Same thing with Cassidy. Remember, the grenade damage is way less, so it's not like it's the same grenade at all. It just feels completely different, and I really like that this works really well for some heroes, but others, you want that more damage, so you might even switch off a Cassidy. I think it's a great change. We'll have to see how it plays out. Now let's move on to the second thing, the health changes. Let's wrap up a whole bunch of things into one. Junker Queen, Roadhog, and Lifeweaver. All 3 of these are changed in healing for some way. Let's go over them. First, let's go over Roadhog, everyone's favorite tank. So with Roadhog, the change is about after you hit your vape to heal. What happens now is you get an extra boost of amplified healing right after you hit your vape for a little bit, just about 2 seconds, no more. It's actually even shorter than that. The thing is, Roadhog is in kind of a bad spot right now. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to make his self-reliability a little bit higher after he hits his vape. His teammate looks right at him, because typically that's whenever you're about to get deleted as Roadhog. So now if the support's looking at you right after you vape, you're probably going to make it out alive. So Roadhog's vape, amplified healing right after you're done hitting your vape. Now on to Junker Queen, the one that's been running the meta for the last season. What happened there is she used to get 200 extra HP whenever she used her shout, but now they reduced it by 50. So you only get 150, you still have 600 HP after your shout. It's not that big of a difference, but overall she has 50 HP less, and it does help a little bit because it really doesn't allow her to be so strong. Not only that, her ultimate charge is a little bit less, takes a little bit longer to get it. Not that big of a difference either. Now on to Lifeweaver, the one that actually is supposed to be doing the healing. So Lifeweaver got a buff in multiple different ways. Let's go over them right now. First of all, the character model is a lot smaller. The pedals on the back used to be bigger and it was so easy to hit. They have tuned that down, thank goodness, because I didn't even want to run this hero. So he's just smaller in general, a little harder to hit. The next thing is the pedal platform. This thing is overall bigger, but not only that, it's a lot less easy to actually trigger on accident. You have to walk to basically the center of it now, which is an intentional walk on most of the time, which makes it raise up at that point. So it's bigger and it's less easy to accidentally activate. The next thing is the overall healing is increased. For the primary fire, you used to have to charge it up to 65. That was the max. Now it's 75. Not a big change, but it definitely helps. If you get 2 charged, it's 150 now, and that's a good amount. But the second thing about the healing is whenever you do your life grip to pull someone back, it actually heals them as well when you pull them. So that way they can recover really easily and no one's gonna be chasing them out trying to finish off the job. A pull usually will always save someone's life and they'll be healed. So how do I feel about all these healing changes? For one, with Roadhog, it's really not going to do much. I think it's awesome that they're trying to help him a bit, but I just don't overall like the kit, and I think that you can still really easily delete him. Second, with Junker Queen, I said it earlier, there's really not going to be much of a change. She's less survivable now, but not by much. Still going to be running these lobbies. And then on to Lifeweaver. I think Lifeweaver is definitely a viable option now, especially if you have the right team comp for it. A lot of people are running their entire lobby with good life grips and healing people in the right times as Lifeweaver. Live Weaver is so much better. I really hope that this starts to show itself in the meta because it's a fun hero. All right, for number 1 now, here is the doozy. The one-shot heroes. They're actually doing something about the problem with one-shots. Hanzo can no longer one-shot a 250 HP target anymore, and Widowmaker can't one-shot 200 HP targets anymore unless she's within range. The range has been nerfed. She can't just sit off in Narnia. Let's go over both of those and how they feel, but let's start with Hanzo. So Hanzo not only got this nerf to the damage of the arrows itself, but the sonic arrow whenever you're revealing someone is a lot easier to see by the one that's targeted. So if you get highlighted, you're no longer just walking into a free headshot from Hanzo. You can actually tell that you were highlighted. You can wait it out. It's a lot better of a change. You can see it through walls now almost. So not only that, the actual arrow damage has been reduced as well. And what that does is it makes it so you can still one-shot 200 HP players, but you cannot one-shot 250 HP players like Mei or Reaper. So there's actually counterplay that can go against Hanzo. So now you can gain the advantage if you pick the right hero. Now on to Widowmaker. Widowmaker has the max damage fall off reduced now. So you can't just sit back and one-tap opponents. They're just squishies. She can still do it. She just has to be closer, and that changes a lot of the gameplay on a lot of the maps. She can't just sit in the very far back and hit a headshot occasionally and it'd be very effective. Now you got to be much closer, much more vulnerable to the team, or you have to have your team follow up on what you're already shooting in order to secure the kill. So how do I feel about these changes? Does it really affect the gameplay? And I'm gonna say yes, absolutely. But really good Hanzos, really good Widowmakers are still going to be very effective. I mean, honestly, if you're still sitting very far in the back as Widowmaker and you're landing your headshots, your team will probably follow up with it if you don't already just body shot them a second time. Widowmaker is still very good. As far as Hanzo, I think this is a great change. It was not a very healthy matchup for a lot of heroes if it was a very good Hanzo. You were just always dead. You could really just overload on Torb, and if you didn't have it, you're still dead. Now you can get Mei, Reaper, Torb. There's lots of healthy options, and more than one person can also pick it on your team. So both of you guys cannot get one shot as a DPS player. Very nice changes to both of them. I think this is not going to ruin the game for really good players of Widow and Hanzo. It was just a very healthy balance change for the game as a whole. I think one-shot heroes for Overwatch is not very healthy once you master it. It is very hard to do, but once you master this, it becomes broken. So I'm glad they tuned it. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and go check out one of these videos now. The algorithm thinks you'll really like it. Have a good rest of your day, guys.